send us a photo of this quote on our wall, as we've just seen, which she has been carrying in her wallet for 40 years. Wow. And a viewer named Jody shared that the whole quote on the museum wall brought her to tears, and she has never forgotten it. So thank you, Dottie. Thank you, Jody, for sharing that perspective and the power and resonance of these words shared by so many millions of people around the world. Not only do people find great meaning in this, but they also adopt and adapt these words. And it's considered a poem by some, the structure of it, in current day protests. Let's take a look at a couple. Let's look at a sign that appeared at a July 2018 march here in the United States in response to American immigration policy, where a protester is saying, first they came for the Muslims, then they came for the Latinos, and then they came for us. Stop the hate. So this woman knows that people will recognize the structure, know what she's invoking, and she is using it in the service of a cause in which she believes strongly. A second example from a different part of the political spectrum is a meme that has been circulated on social media showing different flags. First, they came for this flag, then they came for this flag, and especially for viewers outside of the United States who may not recognize these flags, the person who created this meme is invoking very strong moments in American history, the American Revolution, the American Civil War, and depicting assaults on civil liberties, on personal liberties and personal freedoms using this quote. So it has appeal and resonance all across the political spectrum. What is it about this that makes people still invoke this quote 75 years later, Suzanne?
It's really a timeless message. It goes across time and space. I think that we've seen people across political spectrums, ethnic groups, religious groups, all parts of society can really resonate with this. It's a universalist message, and it's a message about empathy. I think we all can see that.
And Niemöller himself was a man of extremes over the course of his life, as we will soon learn. People often hold up Niemöller as a model of opposition to Nazism, but may be surprised to know that in fact he began as a supporter, an early supporter of the Nazi Party. What was his path?
So Niemöller is one of the most fascinating people I've ever read about. He was born in a small town in Germany in 1892 to a conservative Prussian family. His father was a Lutheran pastor. He himself was really steeped in nationalism, monarchy, the typical anti-Semitism of his church, and a real love for his country, to the point where his dream was to be a naval officer. And as soon as he was 18 years old, he went to the German Navy and served in the German Navy as an officer during World War I. His views on Jews, unsurprisingly, were typical of that time, where Jews were seen as the killers of Jesus of Nazareth and as racially separate from the rest of Germany and as something alien and harmful in German society. And these were his views too, which shouldn't surprise us that much given the environment in which he was raised.
I want to acknowledge that we have viewers watching from all around the country and all around the world. People internationally are watching from the United Kingdom. Good morning to our colleagues at the Montreal Hall.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop it at this point because you can find this video on the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum website. So let's go through. Okay, so one thing that's very interesting about what was just shared with us is that Niemöller actually had similar views to the Nazis. Knowing that, and then knowing that toward the end, right, or during the Holocaust, he said these words, right? It kind of gives us hope that even if someone feels a certain way now, doesn't mean they won't ever evolve into something more enlightened or more open-minded or more accepting. Okay, quite interesting. Okay, all right. Next, what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna show you where this the Holocaust Museum is. Okay. Um, all right, so I'm going to share with you guys. You guys can see this. Okay. Yes. So hopefully one day when you are hopefully one day soon you'll get a chance to go to Washington D.C. Right, and you'll walk up to the Lincoln Memorial. You know which memorial that is? It's on like all the movies, right? Giant Abraham Lincoln. It's at the end of the National Mall, it's called. The National Mall is not a place to go shopping. The National Mall is where, like, I don't know if you've ever seen Forrest Gump, okay? But it's this long corridor that starts with Abraham Lincoln and it goes all the way to the White House. You guys know what I'm talking about? Actually, it goes all the way to the Capitol, I believe. Okay. So anyway, let's just imagine we're staring at that giant Abraham Lincoln statue. Okay. This United States Holocaust Memorial Museum is on the left. So what you need to do is when you look at Abraham Lincoln, all you have to do is turn to your left and walk 2 blocks down and you'll find it. It's next to this red building. Okay, and it's actually this building right here that's like, I don't know what color that is, beige. Okay, so as you, I guess, just before you enter the building, there is this huge sign in the front that says, the next time you witness hatred, think about what you saw. The next time you see injustice, think about what you saw. The next time you hear about genocide, think about what you saw. Okay, so very interesting. You guys know what genocide is? No. It's the killing or doing away of a certain group of people. Okay. Horrible words. Okay. So as you enter, this is what you walk into after. So this is this really sad part about this museum, right? And I guess all the national museums, the Smithsonian museums, you have to go through a what do you call those things? Scanner, just to check, a metal detector, just to check that everybody's safe. As you walk in, it's almost like church. It's very quiet. You don't hear anybody running around, laughing, partying it up. This place is a very solemn museum, for obvious reasons. I mean, you wouldn't go in there and start bust laughing and it's a really somber place. Okay, so if you have like your family members who are military, police, fire, those kind of first responders, you are able to go in for free. Yeah, but what you have to do is call ahead to reserve tickets. Okay, so as you walk through, you'll find like this exhibit. Okay, so if you guys can kind of see, it's kind of an old picture, but when I went, I took pictures so I could show my students. Okay, you guys know what those are, right? They're shoes. So this case of shoes is as wide as like our classrooms. And it's as deep as maybe like 5 feet. Okay, and it's as high, I think, as about 3 feet. you guys know that that's only like a percentage of the shoes left behind. Okay. So we are going to be reading about these things. Okay. I think you guys know what these are. These are not easy bake ovens. Okay. These are crematoriums, right? To cremate bodies. Okay. There is a wall full of tattoos. Okay. So once once the Jewish people were cataloged, like cattle, right? They were given tattoos, right? And every year I have students say, well, we could just run away and just kind of shave off that, right? Notice how the tattoos are basically in the same spot, right? And so people would easily be able to identify you and bring you back, okay? Um, okay, so, just think about, us learning about this, right? The historical details of what happened, right? Um, and as you think about that, yeah, there's going to be maybe other topics that you're going to jump into just researching, okay? Um, just as like for your own curiosity or your own search for the why would people do this, or why did it happen? Okay. And then the question, not in the back of your mind, this question should be out and center. Yeah. Can you relate these details of history to something current? Okay. And every once in a while it'll pop up and you'll be like, and this is why we speak up. Yes, Tehani.
Would like slavery for like African American people be considered genocide? Or is like Jews just the major one? Like has it happened like anytime with any other group of people?
Yeah, so any not, I don't want to say any time, but when a group of particular people rise in society to conquer another group, right? And they specifically target a group of people, right? That's genocide. So it's happening and happened throughout history and throughout the world. Anytime you hear of like chemical bombs going off in certain neighborhoods in like the Middle East, in anytime you hear of like one tribe, like in Africa, take over another specific tribe or whatever, that's genocide, right? The quest to find diamonds, right? Kind of interesting. That's why I don't have diamonds. Yeah,
So
I don't know.
is war genocide?
Yep, can be, especially if a certain group is targeted for no other reason than blaming them for their setbacks and then trying to do away with them, right? So in Europe, it happened. Okay, I don't want to say where because I might give you wrong information, but that might be something to look up. Like, how many times has this happened, right? So that's one of the reasons why, like, the United Nations is there to make sure that peace is kept, right? Has it happened in Asian countries? Absolutely, right? Okay, so it's happened throughout the world. I wanted to just share this with you because I actually took out the picture of the hair. So before the prisoners were put into the crematorium or into the gas chambers, they would cut off their hair. and use it for things. Mattresses, padding, things like that. They used their skin and their bodies as like more like lab rats. So they would use the skin for various things. One in particular, like a lampshade. Right. So as you go through the Holocaust Museum, okay, there's like, I want to say 5 floors. You start at the top and you work your way down. So you got to go up this elevator and then you just go round and round, and it's incredible. If you ever get a chance to go, set aside at least 2 hours so that you guys can go and read and watch some of the videos in there. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop this because it's kind of sad. All right. Okay. So in the chat, you can go ahead and click on this Holocaust Museum website. Okay. And what you have here is you have a whole bunch of things you can look through, like genocide. Yeah, at the top, there's a menu, I guess a tab for genocide, anti-Semitism, survivors and victims. If you click on the survivors and victims, you can actually read, and also you can watch videos on what that was like. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and just go ahead and click the star at the top in the URL so you save this. Okay, go ahead, and then you guys can go ahead and look through this. So yeah, your question on genocide, there's a whole section in the Holocaust Museum that talks about the various places that encountered genocide. Okay, all right, we good? Okay, I'm gonna move you guys on so you guys can kind of look through this later on. Okay, let's go back into our Canvas. All right, so the night introduction slides. I want you to go ahead and click on the night introduction slides because this is your student copy. So I need you to make a student copy for yourself and add your name so you know which one you're gonna turn in. Okay. And what I want you guys to do is this. Go ahead and drop down your student copy so that you can run this side by side with your Canvas. Okay. Because what you're going to be doing is you're going to do like a fill in the blank. Okay. You guys good? Okay, so go ahead and click, it's at the very top, night introduction slides, make your own copy, add your name. Okay, and basically what I did was I went through the slides and deleted important words that you should point out. Okay, what I do not want to see happening is that you just copy and paste these slides. Like I want you to actually go through it. Okay, there's little things that I've changed in my slideshow so you can't copy it. Okay, I'll know if you copied it. Okay, but anyway, everybody got their own copy. You're going to be submitting this, so make sure you change your shared settings to anyone with the link can comment. Okay, we good? Ready to move on? Yes? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to read this first I guess the second slide, slide 2. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, so I'm gonna have each person read a little bit. Okay, so Tehani, you're gonna start with the never. The second one will be Kailoa, just that short one. And then the third one will be Uakea, never shall I forget. The fourth one will be Lele. The fifth one will be Makena. And then Malie, you're going to read the never shall I forget those moments. Okay, and then at the end, you see these last two, never shall I forget those times all the way to never. Okay, we're all going to read together. Okay, you guys ready? Go.
Never shall I forget that night, the first night in camp, that turned my life into one long night, 7 times sealed.
Never shall I ever forget that smoke.
Never shall I forget the small faces of the children whose bodies I saw transformed into smoke under a silent sky.
Mine's not loading.
Oh,
I have really bad Wi-Fi. I'm sorry.
oh, okay. McKenna, go ahead and read.
Never shall I forget those flames that consumed my faith forever. Do you want me to read my line
Yeah,
too?
please, please.
I have an audio.
Okay.
Reloaded. I can read. What line is it? 5, 4, 5.
Yeah, nocturnal silence.
Okay. Never shall I forget the nocturnal silence that deprived me for all eternity of the desire to live. Never shall I forget those moments that murdered my God and my soul and turned my dreams to ashes.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Never shall I forget those things, even were I condemned to live as long as God Himself. Never. Okay, so what we have here is we have the anaphora, right? And I talked to you guys about anaphoras because of the poem that we're writing, right? So it's the repetition of words to create emphasis. You hear it in speeches, right? The Martin Luther King speech, right? What we have here is we have a poem by Elie Wiesel, okay, that talks about his experience. Go to slide 3. So as you go through these slides, okay, when you look at the slides on your canvas, you just click through and you can see the exact same slide. So what is going to be in place of that first? The original title, what? Do you see what I'm doing here? Okay. So you should have Elie Wiesel, okay? And then the third bullet, okay, make sure it's a capital H, Holocaust. Okay, so you see what I did, right? I pointed out important terms here. Okay, and you're just gonna go through this, read the notes so that you understand what's going on, okay? And then if you look below, I've given you also important vocabulary words, like the word archetypes, right? A very typical example of a certain person or thing, right? So Elie Wiesel is actually an archetype of courage. Okay, if that makes sense. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes. Go through as much as you can, and then we're going to move on, okay? And then finish this for this week. So 5 minutes. Just want you guys to get started with this. Okay, notice the themes on slide 5.
So we're just answering as many highlighted parts as we can.
Yeah, go through the notes and read, but yeah.
With the book or
So do you see on Canvas, I've given you the slideshow. And so you just go according, each slide is just the same, is the side by side.
So are we typing in what you have on your slideshow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Kara, what were you doing? Guessing?
No, I was using the book.
Oh,
okay. No, wait.
do you see the slideshow below in the Canvas where it says night introduction slides, and then below it says use these slides to help fill in the blanks.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, good. You guys make me nuts. Like, I wonder if I'm typing in the directions as explicitly as possible. What did you have to do? Scroll down?
Yeah.
You know what you just did, right? You just did the I cannot find the catch up. I
did.
cannot find the show you. Oh yeah? Or I guess that's when like Ma goes, okay, honey, I cannot find my keys. You saw my keys? Or did you see my phone? And it's like in your hand, right? Or you're talking on it, yeah. Okay. Has anyone done that before? Like had their phone in their hand and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't, where's my phone?
Or the remote.
Oh gosh, don't even get me started on the remote. Slide 15, there's some video clips that you can watch, okay? But I just want to point something out about slide 15 real fast. So one of the quickest ways to start to change the mindsets of the masses is to start with the children. Does that make sense? Okay. And so what they did was they started indoctrinating, it's called, a fun word for a brainwash, right? Indoctrinating the masses of young children to believe a certain way, that the Jewish people were what they thought they were. Okay, does that make sense? And so anytime there is this wide sweeping school reform, public or private, right? What's really important is that you guys pay attention to that, right? Like in some countries, right? What I just told you would probably be illegal, right? For me to encourage you to think freely or to think critically like that instead of just believe whatever you read or believe what I'm telling you. Like in some countries or in some autocracies, that would be totally illegal. Okay. Just curious, Malia, what slide are you on?
12 right now.
Okay.
Or, sorry.
Okay. 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 So I'm gonna move you on. Malia, did you see your email? Okay, could you just get into your email? So Auntie Keikilani is like our librarian at the at Kikuyapu'iwa Learning Center. And so do you see that email that I sent you and her? So what I need you to do is she requested for your student ID and your full name so she can check the book out to you, and she's going to drop it off at the office. Okay, and then just note, I don't know what time will you be able to pick it up?
My mom's usually done with work at like 12:30, so
Oh, perfect.
after that.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So go ahead and respond to the all. So you see those arrows with the 2 arrows, that's reply to all. Yeah, just go ahead and say aloha, Mrs. Meyer. My name is,
Do you
here's
want
my
to
ID
be?
number.
Do you want to be in the email, or do you want me to just send it to her?
You can just reply to all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Full name meaning middle name too, or it's just first and last?
I don't know. I think just first and last. And then your ID. And then please close it out with like mahalo nui, something. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's transition a little bit. Okay, so you guys kind of get the hang of it, right? You're just going to submit your copy into this assignment after. All right, this is just to familiarize yourself because some of these words are going to pop up, and definitely some of the historical references are going to pop up because it did happen. So make sure that you go through all the slides. When you start to hit the slides from like slides 20 on, slides 20 on, what happens is you're going to start to learn about what kind of government actually has these sort of mindsets to commit genocide. Okay, so you're going to hear about totalitarian state. You're going to hear about the word persecution. Okay, and then slide 27 starts to talk about the US and world response, which is kind of interesting, right? We want to know at what point does the United States join in the battle, okay? And slide 29 talks about the final solution, and that gets to be really brutal. Okay, and as you guys know, the final solution was the death camps. Okay. And then what happens after? Okay, so quite a heavy historical assignment, but I think hopefully you guys start to not enjoy, but take in history. Okay, know the history. Okay, all right, let's move on. So go ahead and just minimize that and then your slides, and then let's move on to revising the First They Came for poem. So let's go ahead and bring your poem up and running. Okay, and I want to talk to you guys about a little about your poems just real fast. And then as I talk to you guys should be writing notes, okay? Taking some notes. So look at your poem and then look at the section of revising first it came for. So I'm giving you guys some revising tips. I hope you appreciate my Bitmoji. Okay, because after you're done revising, you should also do that. Okay, you should be like, yeah, I wrote that. Okay, I also gave you the copy of Kamal's poem in last week's module. Okay, so a couple of things I just want to point out. And I don't know, did Mr. Stack mention this poem yet? This assignment? Yes, okay, so you're well on your way or no? When do
He
you
only
guys,
He only said something about that we can use something about the poem, but he didn't really elaborate.
okay, step by step. Okay, so here we go. I want you guys to have your poem on one side of your screen and then the module for the revisions on the left side, because what I did was I'm gonna point some things out, okay? You guys ready? Lele, you ready? Stop doing your slides. I see you doing your slides. We're gonna move on. Okay, all right, we good? Okay, so as we look at just an example, okay? Please don't copy me. I feel like I'm like that 5-year-old girl. Please don't copy me. I think that this poem is way outdated. Okay, I think what's going on now and your perspective and your perceptions will find its way in this poem. And so I would think that what you perceive that's going on right now is probably, I don't know, on point. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I'm sure you'll find something better to say than what I've said. Okay, what I'm going to do though is point some things out. So as we go through my poem, okay, so I start talking about, okay, what defines me? Okay, so yeah, hello, I'm a minority, right? I'm brown, I'm short, right? Whatever it is. So what do I say about it, right? That's my response, right? First, they came for the minorities. And look at that. I dropped an excuse, but I provided insight. Like I wasn't ready yet. Okay, so as you're looking, as you're looking at your own poem, provide that insight so that it just doesn't seem like an excuse to walk away, right? I did not discover the strength in my own identity when I was young. I wasn't ready. You guys, I feel like you guys, I don't know, this generation, you guys like really know who you guys are. You guys really know what you stand for. I don't know. And I think it's also your age, like, and what's been going on. I think you guys are, I don't know, super woke. I don't know what you guys call it. Yeah. So provide that insight into who you are. Second stanza. Then they came for the women and I did not speak out because I did not live in a time when women were worth less than farm animals. So what I did was I drew upon a historical reference, right? Even going back to women's suffragette, right? When women could not vote, women could not own land, women could not even own a credit card. Just, I think it was like about 50 years ago. Could you imagine not owning your own credit card because you had to use your husband's? Kailoa, you would be fine. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just kind of crazy. Okay, next. Then they came for me and I found my voice through the pages of history. So at some point, you're going to have this shift happen, right? So in the middle of your poem, after you state a couple things you've noticed, right? There needs to be this shift, right? Because I finally realized that I'm the sum total of the past efforts of civil rights movement, civil rights activists and soldiers who fought for equality. That's where you're going to add your transition or shift. Okay. Next, here we go with the anaphora, the repeating phrase. Hopefully you guys found something worth your time. If you didn't though, start a new tab and go to the transitions. Okay, because the transitions, the Smart Transitions website, what happens is you can use a contradictory transition. Okay, so what is your anaphora? McKenna, let's have you go first. What is your what anaphora did you choose to use?
The repeating thing.
Yes.
I had two actually.
Okay.
I did you see and then you see we and then da da da. And then the next line was one more and then da da da.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Malia, what is your anaphora?
I also had like, I think it was 2 or like 3
Okay.
was but, and then like comma whatever happened, and then and trying to like show the aftermath of that, I guess. And
okay.
then we comma.
Okay. So like, and still we blah blah blah. Very cool. It sounds really like team oriented or like inclusive.
It was like, or it wasn't and we, it was, so one of the lines was as they said that, and then as
Oh,
they
as.
said that, and
Okay.
then, oh wait, sorry, and as. Because
Okay.
there were 2 different ones in one.
Okay, fine. All right. Well, Kay, what about you? What's your anaphora?
Mine was focused on the earth, I guess. I basically said that I didn't speak out for anything because so I talked about trees, clean water and animals, and I talked about how we're kind of overusing them or not using those resources to a benefit for everyone.
So what's your repeating phrase?
Oh, and yet.
And yet. Okay, so you cannot copy me. So click on to your transitions. Let's all do that. Let's see if we can find a better transition. So if you just like in your next tab, your new tab, type Smart Transitions and it should come up. And then go down to where it says opposition, limitation, or contradiction. And there you will find better transitions. Like after all, or even though, rather, whereas, regardless. I like regardless, that's cool. Okay, so challenge yourself to find a stronger anaphora. Tehani, what about you? What did you choose?
I was planning on finding one, like for as we went along, like for revisions.
Okay.
But on the bottom, I have I still, and then what I do.
Okay.
And then in the beginning, I just filled it in with and yet, but I knew I was going to change it.
Good response. Okay, cool. All right, let me go through this, the last part. Okay, this is where now you're taking control of the situation, right? This last part, this last section is now what do you do, right? Because you had your chance to speak up and you didn't. So now what are you going to do, right? So that's where we say, and yet we find ourselves fighting the same fight of having that dream, his dream. So this whole mention implicitly, right? Hint at things, right? And when they took down the flag and replaced it with the British flag, you guys know what I'm talking about? Okay. Do you? What year was that? 1843, the Paulette Affair, right? Do I have to say, right? No, right? And yet when they tore down, right, our Hawaiian flag, right, and replaced it with bearded men in Iolani Palace, right? You know what I'm talking about, do you? Who were those bearded men?
With the people who took over, who overthrew the Committee of Safety.
Very good. Okay. Right. The insurgents, whatever you want to call them. Right. Those guys. Right. We don't have to say their names. Should we say their names? Maybe not. Right. Okay. Next. And yet we find ourselves increasingly divided by our views of society, only to forget that we are all in this, that we are in this together. I need you to paint the picture. Okay, don't just give me a bunch of words. Give me a picture, right? How do you paint that picture? Use imagery. Next line down. And yet we must find a way to hold the hands of our brothers and sisters. That's symbolic, right? I know social distancing, but that's symbolic, to hold the hands of our brothers and sisters. I'm still playing off of his dream, right? That speech, right? Because he talks about brothers and sisters. Okay, regardless of the many band-aids healing the wounds of words, right? We've gone through this incredible period of really low-level vocabulary and hateful words that incite violence. How do we move past that, right? We're still transitioning. Look at that. And yet we must work towards a better tomorrow where everyone is safe. And then I want you to add a sound, maybe even a song. I don't know. Anybody watching The Voice this season? Is anybody watching The Voice? No? Oh, this season is delicious. It is so good. I have a favorite. Her name is Paige. Look her up. Okay, so what I need you guys to do is look at that. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. That song immediately penetrates your brain and gets stuck in your head, right? So be critical at what you choose. Be selective, right? You're not going to date everybody, just like how you write. You're not going to use all the words. You got to be specific, okay? Be choosy. And last, add that metaphor, right? So I use the metaphor of a common denominator, same imagery of holding each other's hands, right? What is the commonality here? What is the thread that holds us all together? Because that thread can easily be broken. Yes, Malia?
Is it okay if we added more than 5 lines?
Yes, this is only the framework.
Okay.
So when you look at Kamal's example, he goes off. Okay. He writes something that I didn't think was in him. Shoot. And now I know he's like got this like major fire burning within him, you know? You guys know him from middle school, yeah? You'd never guess. He's a pretty cool guy. All right. So you guys good? I want to challenge you guys to say it without saying it so obviously, because that's not what poetry is. That's a report. This is different kinds of writing, okay? Does anybody have a really good line that they would like to share? or a really lame one that we need to help each other with? You guys are like, not in a big group. Our class is small. Not yet. We're not ready yet. Tehani, do you have a line to share?
Um,
Not yet. It's okay. No pressure.
Oh,
Malie?
I only have it. It's only a good line if it's combined with the other lines.
Okay, do you want to share?
Do I?
I don't know. I don't force anybody to do anything, but you better do your homework.
how do you make it like less obvious?
So let's go to that line where it says, and yet we find ourselves fighting the same fight of having that dream, right? If I just said, and Martin Luther King Jr. once said, I have a dream. Does that make sense? Like, I didn't say his name, but you knew who I was talking about.
Yeah, because I have a lot of obvious words.
Oh, okay. Like what? Let's see what we could come up with here.
Do I read the whole thing or just the words?
Maybe that line.
There's like a bunch of lines that have like, it's pretty obvious. I don't know.
Okay, just try. Just share your screen with us. Okay, wait, let me. So brave. Lava. Like lava, like stop, or lava like Pele?
The 2018 lava flow, because I experienced the 2014 and 2018, but I wanted to talk about this one more because it talks more about like giving a voice to the voiceless.
Oh my goodness. Can you make it bigger so we can all see? And then maybe we can make some suggestions. Good. Oh yeah. Okay, so like earthquakes, yeah. Describe what that is. Take out that word and describe what it is, right? Because those earthquakes also reverberate within you as well, right? Those earthquakes are also symbolic of what happens when you are empowered and you walk through this earth. You shake the ground with your power. Does that make sense? Like, I need you to grow the metaphor or the concept of earthquakes as that you experience that in a frightening way, right? Because you didn't know when it was going to stop. You didn't know when it was going to come, right? And so those earthquakes, right, become part of you. Because as we know, when earthquakes happen, growth happens, right? Our island grows when there's earthquakes, right? That's the, hey, I'm going to grow right now. We're going to shake a little bit, right? Let's look. And then they came for the air we breathe. And I did not speak out. Oof. Let's describe that. Yeah. The gas mask. What does it look like? I have one. I actually have it, this one with the, you can't see that, with the things that come out over here, right? Yeah. What a weird looking thing, right? Because you can also, should I go down somewhere just a little bit? Just describe it, right? These things, right, that we're protecting our lungs. Then they came from Arizona. Okay. You see that then they came for me and there was no one left to speak for me. And there was nobody left, right? Our neighbors were gone, right? Gone. So rephrase that. Gone were our neighbors. Gone was our life we once had, right? So you can like repeat that over and over again. Ooh. Okay, and then as we go down to even so, now your anaphras come in. We have even so I still wait. I still await the rumbling that makes the ground quiver. It also echoes within you, right? So maybe toward the end you can add a something that now you carry this like the mana of the earthquake, right, with you, and you know that that's the symbol of growth or something like that. Okay, and so you have this metaphor actually going through your entire poem, right? Because it's scary, but then the lava happened, and as you know, it's a sign of growth, right? Because of the destruction, and then the growth happens after. And we know that maybe the Hawaiian timeline is not linear, but circular because it goes in cycles versus a start and an end. Okay. All right. Yes, Malay.
Mine, it kind of went in a different direction.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. So what I'm doing is I just want you guys to kind of see what I'm doing so that you guys can see what you're doing and say, you know what, I can maybe look at this part or something like that. Okay, so Malay, you share your screen.
So I did like ageism.
Oh, okay. First, you can put a minute.
But
oh, because like you're just supposed to be seen and not heard. So that's what, you know, those phrases, right? Because I was supposed to be seen and not heard. Yeah. Then they came for the blah, 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 and I did not speak out. Why? Because I was not old enough to sit at the adult table. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to say it explicitly. So what are things that say you are discredited because you're still too young? Does that make sense?
yeah.
Right? Why? Because I was still sitting at the kids' table, right? Why? Because I was still ordering from the kids' menu, something
Yeah.
like that.
I talked about how they're like, it's like a throne, I said, like kings and queens, or like the adults, I guess, are the kings and queens. And then we're like their servants, I guess. So we don't get to have a word in what happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if that's what you were looking for, because like yours, it went like to good. But I kind of ended mine with we sit here and wait until we were finally considered something.
Well, sometimes when you end with the good, it evokes. Sometimes when you end with the bad, it evokes the good, right? And so this is like, just wait and see what happens, right?
Okay.
It's kind of like when you learn another language, there's this silent period that happens, okay, where you're just taking in things and you're learning, and then one day you can start, you'll be ready to speak, right? So maybe you name it the silent period, right?
Okay.
And then you're gonna say until we're finally considered something more. You know what I mean? Like, I like that you ended it with one word though, because that's pretty powerful. Like you dropped the mic and you did not turn back around. You just like Just wait. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yes, Uakea. Yes, Lele.
I ended mine's negatively too.
Okay. So like I said with like Malays, like if it ends negatively, you're doing it for a reason, right? You're doing it to evoke thought, right? Like, no worry, I catch you later, right? No worry, I'm coming, right? Yeah. Lele, you?
So mine is kind of very obvious of what it's about, and
Okay.
it repeats. So it's about rights, about, well, there's minority rights, women's rights, and LGBTQ rights that
Okay.
I talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it repeats itself a lot, and I don't have any metaphors.
Oh,
I like.
okay. Go ahead and share your document so we can kind of look and see what's going on here. You might have to look up other terms to use, okay, as those phrases. So instead of brown minority rights, you could say something like, because they're using brown and black skin now as minority, as a reference point to minorities.
So mine kind of talks about how I have like privilege because I don't really, people don't see me as part of any of these groups as much. Well, I guess women's rights, but like how I kind of just sit back and let other people trash talk these people, even though I know it's like not right.
I like that you took that approach because it also works in reverse sometimes at Kamehameha schools for whatever reason, right? Like, oh, you're not brown enough, or like we have a lot of kids that are blondes, right? But maybe they,
It's me.
right. Trust me, I've
I
been
dyed my
there.
hair.
You did? Okay. So
Yeah, I dyed it brown because
using the white privilege I possess for good. So how do you say white privilege without saying that word, right? Because I don't know what it's like to be stopped at in the mall, right? Because I'm never questioned when I'm cutting class, going to the bathroom for the 6th time during the day. You know what I mean? Because when I watch the news, I and maybe the empathy is not as strong as it would be for somebody else, right? I don't know, something like that. So let me see. Every day I'm reminded. Let me see. However many ways. So instead of like cheering them on, right, you're going to be standing there holding the signs with those people, right? You're going to have those pom-poms on, right? Okay, so what I'm asking, what I'm showing you is how do you build in that imagery, right? If you're going to be standing with the Hawaiians on native rights, even though you look a certain way, what would you be doing, right? So the action needs to be present, not just the words, but the action. So that really would strengthen your poem. Okay. All right. I'm going to close out class, and then if you want to like work on your poems and then meet up, okay, let me know, because honestly, this is the reason why I became an English kumu, because I love poetry. I don't write it as much as I used to, but I love helping kids find their voices, even in writing. So anyway, okay, so just email me if you want to meet up, and then I'll write down your names. Unless, does somebody wanna, do you guys wanna, does anybody wanna meet up tomorrow? 9:25? You guys good? No, you guys are like, oh no, I'm good. Okay, whatever. Okay, if you need to. All right, so anyway, let's move to the next slide. Not slide, but the next section in the module. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, after you're done reading pages 3 to 46, I know that sounds like a lot. Try open your books. It's not, it starts on page 3, but just try open your books. It looks like a little baby book, actually. Yeah, it's tiny, right? Lele, it's not that much reading, okay? And once you start reading, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh. It's like that stink smell you can't stop smelling. You're gonna keep on reading, okay? We're gonna, the memoir opens with Moshe the Beetle, okay? Moshe the Beetle is his name, okay? So page 3. As you guys do this, I want you guys to take notes, okay? Your reflection for section 1 is going to come in the form of 2 questions. You need to explain why you asked those 2 questions and then respond to your classmates, okay? Good? Hit the next button. Is there anything after that? Oh, then you're gonna drop in your revised version of the First They Came for poem, okay? Good? Membeing is optional this week. Membeing is extra credit this week, so each session you do is going to be worth 1 extra credit point. It's not worth a whole lot of points, but if you want to do Membeing for extra credit points, you can earn up to 3 extra credit points. So 3 sessions max. Why? Because you have kind of a lot to do. And I also want you guys to watch the videos and read, okay? You're going to be reading about babies being thrown in the air and shot. Okay, I'm just gonna spoil that for you right now because I need you guys to know that you're gonna be reading some really difficult moments in history. If it gets too crazy, please email me and let me know, okay? My suggestion to you would be to just skip the next page and move on if it gets too intense. Okay, McKenna, you good? Okay, I just wanna make sure that everybody's okay. I mean, this is like pretty shocking stuff, okay? When you read, remember you need to write down the direct quote with the page number at the end and then do an analysis. I'm gonna say 5. Okay, so in your notebooks, go ahead and write down 5 memorable quotes for pages 3 to 46. Kylo, do you have your notebook? Okay, go ahead and write that down. Okay, 2 column notes. On the left side, you're gonna have your direct quotes. On the right side is gonna be your analysis. Analysis can be either response, reaction, question. Okay, yes, okay, you have a question? No, you're good? All right, you guys, have a great lunch. Email me if you need help. I'll be around tomorrow, okay? Kailoa, can you just wait just for 1 second? Bye, you guys, take care.
Oh, did you want
Yes?
me to pick up my book today? Or
Email Auntie Keiki and ask her when it will be ready so that you can double check so that when your mom's done, she can go and run to the office, the main office, yeah?
okay. Okay, thank you.
Yay, you. Bye. Kylo, how you doing? I know you gotta go lunch, but can you hear me? I'm so worried about your grade, buddy. Are you? Yeah, you're really behind. Okay, so we need you to do work. Can? What happened with your research paper? Talk to me, please.
I don't really know.
Where are you with the research and the research paper?
I haven't even like settled on a final topic yet. I keep thinking of other stuff, but I don't know.
Mhm. I mean, what do you care about, right? The Aina water rights, water issues. We gotta move forward. That's why. So, okay,
Yeah.
we need to meet up. Can we meet up tomorrow at 9:25?
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna be at school, yeah?
I should be, yeah.
Okay, please be at school so that we can like, you know, share screens and stuff like that. Okay, in the meantime, I need you to pick a topic and start pulling
Mm,
sources. Okay, you have Choke to catch up on. Okay. All right. Bye, Kailoa.